Hello everyone, I'm home. I'm just on here for a short video because I miss you guys and I wanted to talk to you. I told you I would show you that little stand that I keep all my little plates on, my random plates. This is the rack that I bought to keep all my pie plates on, and I had about 25 or 30 pie pans on it, but they got real heavy and it was hard to move and they were breaking sometimes, so I started just stacking my individual plates. Sometimes I'll find just one pretty plate or two. Heck, I've even got a stack of three of some of them that match. But I've told you before, I like to use them when I have lunch by myself or just me and my husband. But more for myself. If I have breakfast alone or lunch, I'll just grab a pretty plate, and I enjoy the beauty of them, the different patterns that have been through the years. There have been so many, and if it's a pattern that speaks to me, I'll just get one plate. I don't care. I see these girls on YouTube, and they'll say, "Oh, I would get this gorgeous plate, but there's only one." Well, that doesn't stop me. And usually, when there's only one, it's 50 cents or $1. So I stack them up. I use them. I like to pair them with goblets or cups that match them. I have a real deep shelf in my pantry that I keep all my cups and goblets on, and I may just have one, but I like to use them even if they're random. Then I was showing you in the last video that I said my counter never gets dusty because I change stuff so much. Well, that's bull hockey. It does get dusty. It just doesn't get real bad. But I was looking at the video and I could see something splattered on the bottom of this cake stand. So just keeping it real here. I use my kitchen and it gets messy, and I do have dust and splatters, but I change stuff so much I clean it every time. So I took the basket that I made for Vanessa, and there in the front you can see I wrapped the cellophane around the candy dish. I put some chocolates in there for my son, and I started to wrap it up. And when I got that tablecloth out, I couldn't find the tablecloth I wanted, so I went with the festive design, and that paper was silver on the other side. It was colored confetti on one side, silver on the other. So I laid it out, the basket, on the colored side, and I let the silver side show on the outside. I gathered it all up at the top and cut it off, and then just puffed all that out and made it like a big silver bow, and it looked real pretty. But I went ahead and attached the shiny fuchsia colored bow that I had bought for it and tucked it under the other bow, and the whole thing came together really nice. One side's a little wonky because it's of that tray that's in there. It kept wanting to kind of tilt off to the side, but I think I liked the shiny silver paper better. It was really holographic. It really caught the light more than the color did. So the other day I go into our little Mission thrift store that I love to go to, but I hadn't been there for a couple of months because they don't have a lot of different stuff. And I was in there walking around, and I saw a girl that I've seen for probably 20 years walking around in thrift stores, and I kind of thought she was from our area, and I thought she was a friend of one of my friends, and I've just never talked to her, and she's always busy looking at stuff like I am. So I just went up to her and said, "Hey, are you so-and-so?" And she said, "Yeah." And we got to talking. And we got to talking thrifting and YouTube and our stuff we like and people we know and all that, and thrift shops we like. And we had a really good talk. And it was such a blessing to meet her because she's so sweet and so beautiful. And I wish I'd have talked to her years ago because I think we would have had a lot of fun conversations. So I wanted to tell you about that. Don't be afraid to go up and ask people. I've thought about that in the past, thinking I should go up and see if she's who I think she is. But I didn't. And this day I decided to. I saw this little thing. It was at the Salvation Army. And I saw this little vase. Oh, it was so pretty and very old. I turned it over, and it was only 99 cents, and it was only about 3.5 inches tall. But I thought, oh, you just don't need all that stuff. And these glasses were beautiful, but I have plenty of glasses. I have lots of red glasses. I have some kind of like these. But I just wanted to show you guys what is all in the stores. The Salvation Army had quite a bit of cool stuff. Then I ran into the Dollar Tree to get some dish soap for my sons because they were out completely. And I walk in and they had this big display of all these socks, short socks and long ones. The short socks, you got 2 pair for $1.25, and the long ones were just 1 pair for $1.25. But they had candy and cookies and chips, anything that's popular. They had them on these socks. They had Elvis, Marilyn Monroe, rock and roll bands. It was fantastic. So I grabbed a pair of the Elvis ones. You got 2 short pairs for $1.25, and I got those. But a girl was coming along seeing me taking pictures, and she said, "Are you okay? You need anything?" She worked there. And I said, "Oh, these are just so cool. I'm taking pictures for my YouTube channel." She said, "Oh yeah, they're really cool." She said, "I wish they had Motley Crue though. That's my favorite band." And I said, "Oh my gosh, I just saw Motley Crue." So I dug through them and I found her these, and she was so tickled she hadn't spotted those yet. And they had AC/DC, and oh, it was fun. You ought to go in there. Anyway, I thought of Christmas. Wouldn't those be great for kids for stockings? So I'm in Salvation Army, and I saw this pretty bowl and these pretty glasses. And when I was looking at these glasses, I thought I should remind people that if you know somebody that's getting married, tell them to go to the thrift stores and look. I always see pretty crystal goblets, fluted ones, the kind that you use for your first toast and drink at the wedding. And they sell those in boxes at fancy stores, and they're expensive, and you can find some beautiful ones. I thought these were really pretty because they were unique. But the ones that you use for weddings, they always have them there, and sometimes you can find more than two. And then I saw some of these black dishes I thought were pretty. Then I looked at, as I was paying, I saw a cart over there that had an old dish in it, and I went over and looked, and it really wasn't my style, but it was very old, and it was only like $1.99. Then I saw these two big boxes, and they are wedding dresses that have been preserved, $49.95 a piece. And I opened one of the boxes, and it's totally preserved. I mean, it's tight. You can't see the dress. And I don't know who would have donated them. I guess they just ended up with them and donated them. But I wouldn't buy a dress that I couldn't see, but I guess somebody will buy them. And whoever packaged these up did a good job. They really do fix them so the air can't get to them. I showed this earlier. It was in the Salvation Army, and I kind of regret not buying it. It was etched, and I have several pretty cruets, and you don't really use them. They're just for pretty. This one was only $1.99 though, and I thought of Rosie when I saw it, and I thought, oh, do I need that? I have so many. And then I'm walking past it, and I see a cart they just brought out, and there was another one identical to it. And I thought, oh, that's my sign. I'm supposed to buy one or both of them. But I did not. I let them go. Somebody's getting them a pretty cruet or two. And then I ran into Goodwill while I was at my son's, and I saw this table, and it's downright yucky, guys. They've taken some kind of a little farm table, probably a newer one, and painted the legs black, and they put two big old pieces of wood on it. The drawers on the other side were awful. They didn't work very good, and they didn't have knobs, and they were beat up. But all I could think about was my store and how this would be a great display table, and it was like $15. So it dawned on me I didn't have my truck. It's still in the shop. And I had to call my niece and her husband, and bless their hearts, they went and picked it up for me. And it's at their house now. And I teased her and said, don't try to sell my table and make a big profit now. And she said, I've got it sitting in the bay window. And I said, well, put a lamp on it and some pretties and keep people away from it. I don't want anybody stealing my table. But I'm telling you what, it's cool. It's yucky, but it's cool. And it's going to look nice in my shop. And it's going to have a lot of display space. So I'm really excited about it. And I'm going to have to get my truck back, though, because I'm going to find all kinds of neat bargains when I don't have my truck. Okay, I picked up this vase for 99 cents for my son to give his girlfriend roses. And then I found the long 12-inch long one that's rectangle shaped. So I put all these little glass beads in there, and my son is going to give this to her when I give her the basket. And my son's real sweet. He would have thought of that on his own, but I bought the flowers and I put them in there for her, and they're beautiful and they smelled really good. But I didn't put them in the tall vase because I wanted to try out that rectangle vase. And so yeah, I did that for my son, and he's going to be romantic just like his dad, right? Anyway, this is a picture from last summer. What I had my bed all decorated up, and I haven't done that once this summer. So I don't think I'm going to have a fancy tray on my bed this summer, because maybe when fall gets here I'll do that. Who knows? But on our way home from the mission store, we were going down the highway, and I told my husband, I want to take a picture of the old ghost town for them. And when you went by it, the trees covered it up, so I couldn't get a very good picture of it. But along the highway on Route 1, not too far from Men's Chapel, someone has built this little, looks like back in the old days. It looks like Gunsmoke days. And I had to get real close to the guardrail on the other side to take this picture for you guys, but it's really cool. And someday I'm going to figure out how to get back there and ask the people if I can see it and see it up close, because there's some more buildings than that. But to me, it just reminds me of Gunsmoke and an old saloon and store and stuff. And then, let's see. I'm running out of breath telling you guys all this. Oh, here's a sweet thing. I go to the car wash the other day, and I pull up, and there's a guy in front of me, and he just gets done washing his car, and he comes walking back to me, and I thought, oh boy, what's he want? I rolled my window down, and he said, hey, ma'am, he said, I left you a little treat on the thing in there. He said, have a good day. And he goes back and gets in his car, and I thought, gosh, why did he leave me a candy bar? I was hoping. And I got in there, and it was this money. He left me a bunch of quarters. Isn't that sweet? Okay, how many of you have ever tried Zote soap, laundry soap? We're going to talk about this on my next video. I don't have all the information I need for you right now, but if you know about this soap, I would suggest if you're in Walmart, get you a bar. It's only $1.98 or $2, and we're going to talk about it. Like I said, I got to get a little bit more information, but we're going to talk about it. So until next time, I'm sitting here. A guy just went past our house and did a donut in front of our house. I've never seen anyone do something like that in front of our house, and it was crazy. And I got the screeching tires on here, and I had to delete it. I kind of wish I'd have left it now, because I still can't believe it happened, but I thought I was going to have to call the police, because that's a dangerous curve right there. So you can join me on Instagram at MarcyJoes631. I was talking to a few of you in the comments, and some of you are saying that you like to hear me talk and that it's like a visit on my front porch, and I hope that's how my videos come across. I know I mess up sometimes, and I say things too fast, or I say random stuff that doesn't apply to the picture or whatever, but that's the whole point of my thing. I want to inspire you guys to have a beautiful life with basic, ordinary, cheap things and have a beautiful home. And I want you to feel like you're visiting with me, because that's what I want to do. And I missed you guys from the last video. So, as always, I love you from the bottom of my heart.